Hi, welcome to another video by Jim the Car Guy. Today we're going to be working on a 2008. It's a Chevy Colorado with a 2.9 liter engine. The problem we're having is that the customer complains that when they start the vehicle and it's running, you can hear a metallic noise underneath the hood. So let's get up front. I'm going to show you what to do. Tensioner, fan belt, and idler pulley. We're going to do all three. So let's get up there. I'll show you what it looks like. All right, let's start this up. I'm going to show you what that noise is all about, and we'll go from there. That is the noise that I'm talking about. All right, so now that we know where the noise is coming from, let's get started. Okay. Remember, if you don't have it, if you can't get a schematic like this, you're just going to draw it out yourself. And then what we're going to do is right up in here in the front, there's a spot there for a right down here. It's a spot right there for a 3/8 socket to go into, or ratchet, so we can remove it. So let's get started. I know it's going to be a little bit tough to see down here because it is a tight spot. It's not the brightest in the world, but hopefully you can get an idea. You slide your ratchet in, and then you just release the belt tension like this, and you remove the belt. Any place you want to remove it from, it doesn't really matter. Then you release the tensioner so that it comes right back up, and then you can remove your ratchet, and we're going to take that fan belt off and out of the picture. Alright, the way you take that tensioner off is fairly simple. You know, you have that 15 millimeter bolt right here. You're just going to remove that. Take the tensioner out. I just want to point out there's only one way that this tensioner goes back in, and that little pulley on here has got to line up only with these little nubs in the these little indentations in the engine. Alright, so this one here is the one that was actually moving back and forth. So we'll grab the new one now, and we're going to put the new one back on there. Also, going to remove this one right here, because this is the one here that was actually making the noise. We're just going to take that bolt out right there. Again, that's 15 millimeter. We'll take that out, and we're going to remove it from the truck. It's a little tough to do with one hand here. It's such a tight spot, but I'll give you an idea. We're just going to... And that's where we're getting our noise from, is this bearing right here is making some noise. So, all right, let's get the new parts, and let's put this job back together. Okay, now we have the replacement. We're going to put that down in there. Remember, you're screwing it in strictly by hand now. You're not using a ratchet yet. You're going to screw it in as far as you can by hand, because you don't want to take a chance on cross-threading anything. So screw it in by hand, and when you can't screw it in any further, put a socket on it or ratchet or whatever, and turn it in the rest of the way. Okay, now remember, you're screwing into aluminum. You don't want to take a chance on over-tightening it, so be careful tightening it up. Now, obviously, that was a short ratchet I was using. I need to get a little more leverage just to get it tighter, but don't over-tighten it and strip it out. It's only going into aluminum. Okay, all right. Now we're going to grab the tensioner, and we're going to put the tensioner back in on this side right over here where we took it out. So let me grab the tensioner, and we'll come right back. Okay. Same thing when it comes to the tensioner. Make sure you always line it up and make sure that everything is exactly the same. As you can see, there's a little adjustment pin here, or this is in the correct position. So we're going to install the bolt. You have to use the old bolt over again. We're just going to put it down in there, and we'll get it caught for now. And then we'll just turn it and line it up, and then tighten it in only by hand until you get it in to the point where it's tight, so you know it's not cross-threaded, and then you can use a ratchet. Now obviously if you have air, you can use an air gun, but on the street you're not going to be able to do this, or in your garage at home you probably will not be able to do it. So tighten it up. Again, remember you're screwing into aluminum, so you don't want to over tighten it and strip anything out. Longer ratchet to get a little more leverage so we can tighten it up all the way. Nice and tight. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to lay our fan belt back in there, and we'll continue. I'll bet you right around now you're real happy that you actually had that schematic either printed or drawn out so you can put that belt back on the right way. Alright, let's continue. Okay. Now, remember what I told you about that schematic? You drew it out already, so you're pretty confident that you're going to be in good condition now. A little bit tight. But what I always do is put all the bottom part on first. Last thing we're going to put on is this one over here. So we're just going to lay everything back in. We're fairly close to where it belongs. And then we're going to get in here with the ratchet. To see, but I'm going to get it in place now. I'm going to show you what I did. See, make sure it's on the pulleys down there, up here, and then you have your ratchet and you release it. And then before you do anything, always look it over. Make sure everything is in the groove where it belongs. Make sure it's in your grooves down here correctly, on your power steering, around your alternator, on your idler pulley, around your air conditioner, and most importantly, around the crankshaft down the bottom right there. Alright, so we're all set. Let's get these lights out of the way here and get our tools out of the way, and we're going to start this up. Okay, now we have everything out of the way. Let's fire it up and make sure it sounds okay. Okay, now don't put your hands down in any place down here. You don't want to take a chance on losing fingers. You're just looking to make sure your belt and everything is on exactly as it's supposed to be. Which, as you can see, everything looks good. Nice and quiet, no more noise. All right, we're all set. This car is going out the door. Remember I was telling you before about that tension or rocking back and forth? You can see the tension there? See how steady it is now? It's not moving at all. Before it was moving back and forth, in and out from the engine out. So it's perfect now. So as always, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.